Hello, and welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today, we are testing out something new. We are testing out emergency ration bars. I've always been curious, and I have never made them, and this is out of the book, No Grid Survival Projects. This is something that my mother-in-law let me borrow, and the recipe and instructions are in this book. This is basically like a high-calorie granola bar. It's designed to feed you all day long, so we're gonna go ahead and make it, see how hard it is to make, see how well it tastes, and then I'm gonna share with you how long I think it will actually last. So first, let's talk about the ingredients. So I had most of these ingredients already. I actually had to buy the Frosted Flakes because that's not something I would normally buy. And like I said, this is pretty much kind of like a granola bar recipe, just a not as healthy one. It's, like I said, made to be super calorie dense, so it's made to feed you all day long. So you pretty much, you put all of these ingredients together and it will make a giant 2400 like calorie bar, and then you would split it into however many sections that you want to divvy out to your family, or if it was just for you and you're going on a hike, it would make it super easy just to put in a backpack. It wouldn't take up a lot of space. So let's go ahead and start putting it together. I'm going to go ahead and put all of my dry ingredients together first, and then I will take all the liquid ingredients over to my stove and warm them up. So we need a cup of Frosted Flakes. Change that so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Let's try that out. A cup of the Frosted Flakes, 3 cups of oatmeal, one cup of almonds, 1 cup of raisins, not sure if I have enough almonds in here, so I have one of these little baby packs too, just in case. They're whole. I'm not going to bother chopping them up, not for this. We're going to call that 1 cup because I don't want to open up that baby pack. I'll save that for later. Okay. Protein powder, I need to go grab because I didn't set it out. Okay, and the only other thing I have besides coffee flavored protein powder and like that PB2, but that's not as like, doesn't have all the protein in it that like normal protein powders have, so I don't want to use that, is chocolate, but I imagine that it might not taste horrible because we're putting peanut butter in it too, and almonds. I mean, that's not bad, right? How much was that? 1 cup? Yep, 1 cup. Okay, now I want to make sure that this is let's make sure that this is nice and stirred up. So after I'm done with all the liquid ingredients, it won't be as hard to stir, hopefully, because in the instructions it does say that it gets really hard to stir. It gets super, super tacky. So I want it to be as incorporated as possible before I mix in all those other like wet ingredients. I didn't forget anything, did I? Nope, everything else will go in the saucepan. I've actually made... I'm gonna put this over here so I can read it. But maybe. I've actually made a recipe kind of, okay, not exactly like this, not like a high calorie, but with the frosted flakes and the peanut butter. And that was out of like a 1972 newspaper article that were like these little like peanut butter drops. They were really, really sweet, like had so much sugar in it. And this will too. But I mean, they're emergency ration bars, so they would be for an emergency when you need the food and the calorie intake. So this definitely isn't like a normal day-to-day food. Like I said, it'd probably be really good for hiking and for hunters to take out when they don't have a lot of space in their pack to, you know, maybe perhaps take canned foods or full-on meals. You know, a lot of hunters will take like MREs and stuff, but this would be like a good high-calorie snack, I guess. Or if you didn't have MREs, like I said, it is an emergency ration, so it could be something that you have in a fail-safe scenario if you didn't have anything else to eat. Okay, we're gonna call that nice and mixed up. So let's go ahead and take you over to the stove where we will mix all the wet ingredients. Okay, now here is going to be the fun part. We're going to put all of the wet ingredients in. So we have oil, peanut butter, maple syrup, which I am using my homemade maple syrup, and I'm not quite sure how much is left in here. I have some backup though, but we need 2 cups of that, and then honey as well. So this mixture needs to simmer, and then we will add it to the dry ingredients and mix well. That's supposed to be the hard part, is getting it all mixed in really well. That will take some arm work, but it is really important when you begin to have this simmer that it will be really, really hot. So make sure you're careful with it. We don't want any accidents because it will burn the crap out of you if this mixture gets on your skin. So let's go ahead and start putting everything in. So we are going to start with the maple syrup. I think I need 2 cups, right? Is that what I said? 2 cups maple syrup. Let's see how much I have in here. Oh, I think we're in luck. It's going to be exactly perfect. Wow, that was amazing. Like I said, lots and lots of sugar, but this would be in a case where you need lots and lots of sugar. 4 tablespoons of raw honey. Three tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir, and then I'm going to rinse this out before I start putting my peanut butter in it. Peanut butter is not my favorite thing to measure out. It's just sticky and messy. Looks a little odd. Grab myself a spoon to try to measure this out. And just need 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, so that's not too terribly much. Sorry if you can hear me sniffling on camera, I'm just getting over a cold. Finally have been feeling good enough to get up and around. Okay. I do believe that is all of our wet ingredients now. Just gonna double check. Olive oil, maple syrup, honey, peanut butter. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and simmer this, and as soon as it's done, we will we will add it to our dry ingredients. Ooh, peanut butter kind of looks icky. It's all like chunky. This part took the longest besides the actual bake time, trying to make sure everything was heated up slowly so it didn't turn into a boiling hot lava mess. And it actually did smell pretty good warming up, and it wasn't as hard as the instructions said after you were mixing it in. As long as you mix the ingredients together, the dry and the wet ingredients, when the wet ingredients are hot, it's not that hard to mix together. Honestly, making me crave waffles, that maple syrup smell with the peanut butter. Okay. Now we need to stir all this together before it gets cold. Make sure everything is well mixed. Actually smells really good now. The peanut butter, the chocolate, the oatmeal. Okay. I'm going to say that is pretty well mixed, but we're not done yet. We still need to bake it. Like I said, this is just like making your own granola recipe. This is just a super calorie dense one. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven for 375, and then it will bake for 20 minutes. So it was very specific in the instructions to make sure that you put it in a pan that was at least 2 inches thick, and then you want to press it down real well. I'm going to go ahead and line it with parchment paper so it makes it easier for me to take it out. That's what I always do with my granola bars too. Most of the time you don't have to worry about them sticking too much, but it's just nice to be able to lift them straight out of the pan to let them cool, and it makes it easier to cut them as well. Now, you could also put these in little muffin tins, or, you know, make them a little bit thinner if you want, but of course they would be, you would have to calculate out how much the calories were. So, you know, if you did 12 little muffins out of these, like little like pucks, like granola pucks, then you would just take your 2400 and divide it by 12 to figure out how much was in each puck. So let's go ahead and press it down, and I'll show you a little tip to make sure it's all nice and flat. So after I pour everything in here, I'm going to get my hands wet. Obviously, always make sure that your hands are washed and clean before you do this, but get your hands just mildly wet, and then you can press it down, and that will actually help make it so this mixture doesn't stick to your hands as much. I'll show you. Oh shit, that's hot. You want everything pressed as flat as possible. And like I said, it makes it so it's not as messy. I'm not having all these ingredients sticking to my hands. Okay, into the oven we go for 20 minutes, and then we will let this bad boy cool, cut it up, and give it a try. Now, the big question will be how long these actually last. Like I said, these are marketed, this recipe is marketed as a 2400 calorie emergency ration bar, so something that like backpackers could take, hunters, anytime you're leaving for a day-long period and don't have access to make yourself something to eat besides just an MRE or packing stuff to eat, obviously. I don't think these would last very long per se in the pantry. You know, if we sealed them up, like vacuum sealed them, they would probably last for a few months. I mean, there is a lot of maple syrup and honey in it, so it would probably help preserve it. But if there's any moisture left in it, like all the fats and stuff that's in the peanut butter and the oil, if there's any moisture, then it's still going to create an environment where it will get icky and mold inside of that plastic. That's definitely not something I would leave in my pantry for months on end, especially if I was doing it for an emergency situation. It's definitely not something you want to experience, is actually have a need for something like this and go to grab it off your shelf and it not be safe to eat. You could probably put it in the freezer for an extended period of time, but it definitely won't taste the same, and it obviously is going to get harder the longer it sits. So I'm going to go ahead and let it cook, and I'll give it a try and see if it's even taste worthy. I mean, it smelled pretty good, especially with that chocolate protein powder. It smells sweet enough. The peanut butter, the almonds, the raisins, all those things, like you can smell everything coming out after I added that hot mixture to the dry ingredients. So I think it would be a great idea for like hunters and hikers, but I'm not positive it would be a great emergency ration like for survivalists or preppers long term. Okay, so it is all done. I'm gonna go ahead and let it cool a little bit before I cut it, and then we will give it a try. Okay, she is all cooled down, and honestly, I mean, it almost looks like bread, like it's kind of squishy, but it looks like my homemade granola bars. So let's go ahead and cut it up, and just for size reference, I'm gonna go ahead and do what the recipe recommended. So this is supposed to be a 2400 calorie dense emergency ration bar, and I will cut it into 4 to make each section 600 calories. So it's something that you're supposed to be able to like live on for a day if you had to. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it into 4 just so you can see how, because that's actually a pretty big chunk. So let's cut it. So it's pretty doughy in the middle. I'm wondering if I should have cooked it longer, but let me show you. I can pick up a piece. Still kind of hot. So this whole piece should be 600 calories. Now, I suppose that's not a lot if this was a meal for you. If you're truly in a survival situation, took this hunting, hiking, whatever, it's kind of like a big piece of it's in between like a bread and a granola bar. Like it looks like bread, and that's probably from all of the oatmeal. But I don't think this obviously wouldn't last very long. It's super sticky. And so trying to seal it, even sealing it in like a jar or vacuum sealing it, you would still just create an environment for mold and bacteria to grow. Now, if I put it back in the oven and dried it out more so it was harder, and obviously it would make it harder to eat then too, then maybe perhaps it would last longer, but still I wouldn't say it would last longer. I wouldn't eat it after a month. I guess if you were in a survival situation and this was the only thing you had in your pantry, then maybe I would reconsider. It's still kind of hot, so it'll harden a little bit more the longer it sits, but like as you can see, like it's kind of squishy. Like I said, it's kind of like bread. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut this into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna treat it like granola bars. I'm gonna see if my kids will eat them. My son will pretty much eat anything. My other two aren't exactly fond of granola bars, and this might be too oatmeal-y for them. Like I said, it's super dense. It's kind of like, it's like bread. Okay, here's a little piece that broke off. So this is the little piece that I'm going to give a taste test for. It tastes like a granola bar. And it's really not bad at all. And it's not as it's not as moist as it looks either. And I think it's because of all of the oatmeal, the way it expanded. I said it was super squishy. It's kind of like bread. But when you bite into it, it doesn't feel squishy. It's like a granola bar. It's actually really not bad at all. Definitely recommend if that's something you need to take hiking. I don't know if I'd want to eat it all day long, but if you were in a pinch, it really wasn't hard to make. It didn't take long to make, and it wasn't expensive to make either. Most of this stuff most people have in their kitchens already. I can guarantee my son will eat this. I bet my husband will too. It does taste good. There's a little bit of an aftertaste. I think it's the maple syrup that I'm tasting. But overall, I mean, I would say this was a win. It's just really like a super calorie dense granola bar. I mean, besides all the sugar in it, it's not exactly horrible for you. And it definitely beats the price of trying to buy an MRE. So if you're in a pinch and you're getting ready to go for a hike and you don't have space, this is a really good idea to make something like this. It would not take up very much space in a pack whatsoever. And obviously you could treat this more as like a lunch if you're going on like a group hike or hunting in a group. You could do like the muffin tins and break them up into more pieces, so obviously it wouldn't be as many calories, but you could also kind of treat it like a snack too. Keep your energy up while you're out in the wilderness. Definitely a win. Let me see if I can go get my husband to try some. Tastes like a granola bar.
Almost doable.
The 2,400 calorie emergency ration something.
Oh, this is that one?
Yeah.